Hello, this is Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is a video for the new Boston. Now in this tutorial we're going to be talking about sessions inside PHP. Now you've probably already heard of cookies, and sessions are quite similar in the sense that they store information about the user that's currently visiting your website. So we're going to be storing a piece of information. It might not just be about them, but it will be a value that is either relative to them or they've entered. So why do we store sessions and why do we store cookies? Now there's another video tutorial on cookies, but in each video I'm going to explain the main differences between them and what should be used when for mainly security purposes. Now sessions are stored on the server, so they're hidden from the user. We don't have an easy ability to change sessions. So let's just say we had a table, for example, in which user data was stored, and one of the fields in this table was ID, one of the fields was, let's say, the name, and one of the fields was, let's just say, some private data. Now I'm going to assign the ID of 1 to, say, the user Alex, and some private data will go here. Now if we had an ID of 2 with a username, let's say Billy, and we had some private data here, if I was using cookies, for example, and I was storing the value of 1 in cookies, when we go to read that cookie in, I'm freely able to change the value. So I could change the ID that the current cookie, down here, at the moment it might be 1. Now let's say I wanted to act as if I was Billy, I could change that to 2. Therefore all my code will be updated to give me information about Billy. So if that doesn't make sense, it will make sense on later examples, but for now you need to understand that with sessions they're a lot more secure. Things like shopping carts, user login systems, they tend to be a lot better. But what we can do is then use cookies to remember, and we can use secure cookies as well. We can encrypt things. So just for now, sessions, if you're using them alone, they're a lot easier and they're quicker. Now what do we do to create a cookie? I mean, in this example I'm going to show you how to set a cookie and then how to view a cookie that's already been set, and we can also check if a session has been set, and then we can view it. So we can also check if a session has been set before we view it. So the first thing we need to do is type session start at the top of our page before we do anything with session data. So if you were declaring session data, let's say up here, then this would not work, because you need to have session start before you start to do anything with sessions. Now to set a session, you've seen examples such as $_post and $_get. And this works in exactly the same way. What we do is we say $_session. We have 2 square brackets. We have the variable name. So let's just say we want to call our session name. Now what we do is we set this relative to a piece of information. So I'm going to say name equals Alex. So this is now a session name. Now this variable exists only on this page now. However, it's being stored now as a session, so therefore this should be accessible by any page in our website at any time, even if we don't declare it. So what I've done is essentially started the use of sessions, then I've set a session called name equal to Alex. Now that's on set.php, so let's just go over to this session folder here, and we click on set. Now what's happened now is we've executed or run this code, and session has been set. This particular session has been set with the value Alex. So what happens on view.php when we want to return this data to the user? Now usually you would have to include this file inside this file, so include set.php when we're working with variables. However, because this is session data and it's stored on the server about us now, we're viewing this now, you don't need to. So session start, make sure you include that in, even when you're reading back variables, session start. Then we can simply echo $_session name. And what this is going to do, it's going to take this stored variable inside this session called name, and it's just going to display it to us in the view.php file. So we're on set now. We've already set that variable. So let's go back and click on view, and you can see that it's shown Alex. Now, you may be asking, why is this useful? How is this useful? Well, it's useful for things like user logging in. For example, if a user was to log in, you want to remain or want to keep them logged in throughout while the time they're browsing your website. So this is a way to store a session and show that they're logged in. So let's just say we change this to username equals and then Alex in lowercase. Okay, so we have started our session up here, and we've set our session in this file here. Now let's just say this was a login page. We've logged the user in successfully. There would obviously be other code, but now in view.php I want this file to be something that you have to be logged into view. So I can just start up an if statement and say if is set $_session at username, and I can say if it is set, we can do something in here meaning they're logged in because the session has been set. Otherwise, echo please log in. Now here I can say echo welcome. Then what I can do is I can maybe do a comma, then concatenate on $_session username. You could store this in a variable here if you wanted to make it a lot easier to use later on, but just for now I'm going to show you it this way so you can understand. So at the moment we don't have a session variable called username set. So if we go to this view.php page and refresh, you can see it says please log in. Now if we go back to our other file set.php, what we've done now is we've set our username session data, and that's equal to Alex. So the result we should achieve when we go on view.php is that we check if the session exists, and it does, so we're going to echo welcome, comma, and then the user's name. So if we click on view, you can see that that's exactly what we get, and it says welcome Alex. So you can see now how simple it is in actual fact to create some kind of login and register system. Obviously these are these are just a minor part of the registration and login system itself. However, later on, things like that are a lot easier to pick up when you have these types of fundamentals. So that's sessions in PHP.